Hi everybody, that's Tad Atkins. In this video we are going to talk about moving experiences unit 10.1. As usual, we are going to get some vocabulary to describe movies, and we are going to get grammar rules about relative clauses, and we are going to get some tips and hints for writing. Let's get started. First of all, let's get some words, new words to describe movies. So, probably everybody watches lots of movies in their life, but what kind of adjectives can we use to describe them? So, the first one is fast paced. Fast paced movie is when a movie is full of actions, events, races, and other things. For example, Mission Impossible. In this movie, you can see the heroes fighting with other people. You can see race scenes, fights, other things. So this movie is really fast-paced. Next one is touching. If you describe a movie touching, then it means it makes you cry, very emotional. Like The Pursuit of Happiness. Probably if you have seen this movie, then you cried. Not you? Yes, you did. Me too. And it's very emotional. It makes you really sad, or sometimes it makes you it motivates you. So anyway, it's really touching. It makes you cry. Next one, gripping. If the movie is gripping, it fully involves you. You can see here two girls watching a type of movie. I don't know what kind of movie they are watching, fast-paced, touching, hysterical or creepy, but they are fully involved into the movie, and so movie grabbed their attention fully, so you can say this movie was gripping. Next one is gory. I had a little bit difficulty to find a picture for you guys, but maybe I can show you a moderate one. Gory means when a movie involves bloody things, like there is blood related actions, or there are some murderous killings, or other things. So maybe two people fight with each other, and then there will be lots of blood splashing onto the screen. I tried to find some not very scary one, but in real movies, some gory movies, there will be a lot of blood related scenes. So if you describe a movie like gory, then there is blood related some scenes in the movie. Next one is hysterical. Hysterical informally means very funny. So here you can see one movie but by Jim Carrey. So looking at the guy makes you smile, makes you laugh out loud. If you if you watch the video, then you laugh a lot, then you can say, well, it was hysterical. Next one is creepy. Ooh. Creepy is like while you are watching the video, you feel like, ugh. Like it. Probably this movie best describes the word creepy. Next one is controversial. Controversial is when the movie creates or arises lots of questions. Like here you can see one movie, The Joker. Some people believe that the Joker is a good man. Some people believe that Joker is mentally ill. So some people say Joker is justifiable. Some people say that Joker is unjustifiable. There are lots of debates on this movie. There are lots of questions on this movie. There are lots of misunderstandings, or there are lots of explanations on this movie. Lots of people talking on this movie. So this means controversial. Full of suspense. When the movie is full of suspense, then you have to wait a lot, something to happen, like in The Ride. There will be a couple, so a boy and a girl falls in love, and one intruder tries maybe to kill these two couple. You have to wait what happens till the end, whether he is going to kill or not. But actually this movie has a happy ending, but in order to see this happy ending, you have to watch the movie till the end, and it gives you sometimes thrill, it gives you emotions, it gives you some scary scenes, but all in all, you have to wait till the end. So if there is a movie that makes you wait a lot, then this movie can be described as full of suspense. The next one is outstanding. When the movie is very successful and you can see that it's on top of the list, like of the year, and you can say this movie was outstanding. For example, Sherlock. Actually, there are lots of versions of Sherlock, overall 3 if I'm not mistaken, and some people believe that the last version is not going to be as popular as the first and second one, but this movie proved to be very successful. Therefore, again we can say this movie was outstanding. The last adjective that we can use for describing movies is thought-provoking. Thought-provoking is a movie when it makes you think a lot, from the word thought, think. Like this movie. The name of this movie is Gattaca, and sci-fi movie. Well, it was shot in 1997 if I'm not mistaken, in 1990s, and when you see this movie you ask lots of questions from yourself, you ask lots of you will have lots of misunderstandings on you, you don't know what to do in that kind of situation, so it kinda increases your critical thinking. And if there is a movie that's related with critical thinking, then it can be described as thought-provoking. Okay, I think we have done all of the vocabulary. Now let's quickly recap the words. So fast-paced, touching, gripping, gory, hysterical, creepy, controversial, full of suspense, outstanding, and thought-provoking. Now let's move on to grammar. So today we're going to see relative and relative clauses. So probably you know that there are 2 types of clauses: defining relative clauses and non-defining relative clauses. Let me start with defining relative clauses. So defining relative clause, actually relative clause is when you are going to give something extra. Like you have got essential information, but you are going to give something extra, but this is also very extra, essential information, like important. For example, that guy is the actor who is going to play the president. Well, here we are going to give information about the actor. Who is that actor? So if we miss who is going to play the president, and this sentence makes no sense, like this guy is the actor, that guy is the actor, so it makes no sense. And do not use commas before or after clause. Sometimes we can use that instead of who. For example, that guy is the actor that's going to play the president. Or Ken's just seen a woman that he went to university with. We use the word which for things or objects. Sometimes we can omit the relative pronoun or adverb when it's the object of the relative clause, like Ken has just seen a woman who he went to university with. Here we don't have to use who, because in original 2 sentences it was like Ken has just seen a woman, he went to university with her, so her here is object, not subject, therefore we can omit it, saying Ken's just seen a woman he went to university with. Moving to pronouns and adverbs in relative clauses. So we use who and that for people. You may ask a question, what's the difference between who and that? Can we use it interchangeably? Actually, we cannot use them interchangeably. We use who when we have got a real person like Ken, Bob, Tad, or other names. That is like when we don't really know who the person exactly is, like someone, everybody, nobody. So in these situations we can use that. We can use which and that for things, but these two can be used interchangeably, no difference in grammar, no difference in meaning. Whose is for possession, and relative adverbs when for time and where for place. Let's see some examples here. I remember the time when you were just a little girl. Or next one, whose can be used to refer to cities, countries, and other nouns, which suggest a group of people like this. It's a city whose inhabitants always seem to be upbeat. Well, here we have to be careful that we omit the words which have been replaced by the relative pronoun, like she's someone who I know well. The two sentences here, it was like this: she is someone, I know her well. But since we are using who here, we don't have to use her again, so therefore we omit it, we do not use it. She is someone who I know well, that's it. Now let's move on, non-defining relative clauses. Non-defining relative clauses is like when we add extra information, not really essential, like that's Sam who is going to play the president. The difference here is we use comma. When defining relative clause before who or before relative clause, we use no comma, no punctuation. But when we have got non-defining clauses, we use commas, like that's Sam, comma, who is going to play the president. We cannot use that instead of who or which when it's non-defining, like the film, which won the Oscar last year, was made in India. We cannot omit the relative pronouns or adverbs like Gwen, who I'm going to see later, is my fiancée. We can use which to refer the whole previous clause. This means like if we would like to refer the whole sentence, we can use which. The plane was delayed, which meant we were late. So here which means the whole sentence, the fact that the plane was delayed. Now let's look at some of the prepositions in relative clauses. In informal spoken and written English, prepositions usually come at the end of the relative clause, like this is the book which she is famous for. In formal and in written English, prepositions often comes before the relative pronoun, like he is someone with whom I walk. Sometimes you can also say like this is someone who I can walk with. This is also a correct version, but it's generally spoken. But in written form, in formal English, it's better to use he is someone with whom I walk. Where can be replaced by which. For example, the room where she slept, or you can say the room which she slept in, or the room in which she slept is over there. But you have to be careful when we use where, you do not have in. But when we use which, it's better to use in. For example, the room in which he slept is over there. So this was a quick overall rules for relative clause, defining relative clause types and non-defining relative clause types. There will be some exercises in your book. I hope you can do it and ask some of the questions in the comments below or through Telegram. Now let's move on. Writing. We are going to get something new for writing as well. This is called adverb plus past participle combinations. I have got here the first sentence, actually two sentences. The genre of Gattaca is sci-fi. Probably you have seen this movie, the picture of the movie. The genre of Gattaca is sci-fi. It was skillfully directed by Andrew Niccol. Here you can see skillfully is adverb, and we are using directed past participle, like sometimes we call it verb 3. There are two sentences here, but by joining the skillfully directed and making some clause, you can create only one sentence like this. Skillfully directed by Andrew Niccol, Gattaca is a sci-fi movie. Now let's get some more examples. For example, the first one is a poorly constructed water ski, a highly valued employee, a clearly defined set of terms, a wholly owned corporation, a newly formed division, an extremely tiring trip. So here we are using adverb first of all, and then we are using past participle and probably noun. Sometimes you can use noun, sometimes you don't have to use noun, as above, like skillfully directed by Andrew Niccol. So probably that's all for this movie. I hope you enjoyed some of the rules and some of the new things. See you in the book. See you a bit later. Write all of your comments below and all of the questions through Telegram. I'll be ready to answer them. Thank you.